What up, Wastelanders? Christopher here, Gaslands NorCal. Thanks for joining me once again for another conversion video. Now this time, we're going to pay a little homage to all the great athletes of the Olympics, specifically the USA team, and we're going to do something all-American with this Fast and Furious 70 Chevelle SS. Now, the picture is kind of confusing. It has like the engine and everything on here, but there's no engine hole in the hood. So we're going to take these decals coming from Rust Belt Customs. These are just awesome. I love it. Flag 2024, the skull with the red, white, and blue on them. Got some really cool wheels going on. Got a ram that I'm not sure if I'm going to use or not. We'll see how that one goes. Going to be using the Monument Hobbies Pro Acryl Silver for the coloring of the car. It's going to go really well with the decals and everything, busting the USA flag out of the metal and everything. But yeah, so let's get this thing done. First things first, we got to get this baby apart, get her to the stripper. Alright, here we are, all primed up in the white. Of course, we're going to do it in the silver, and I want to see how it's going to come out instead of doing it over black. Still going to do the agrax and everything into the nooks and crannies and stuff to make it more grimy and everything. But yeah, this should look pretty good coming out with the silver. So yeah, let's get it all base coated in silver, then we'll see where we're at before we start getting the decals on. But yeah, high hopes for this one. Let's get it done. Alright, silver's all done, base coat looking good, looking very shiny and chrome. Got the decals all cut out and ready to get on there, got some wheels picked out. Should work out, we'll see how they're going to turn out once we get everything back together. First off, we're going to hit it with some agrax just to get the nooks and crannies and creases and everything to pop out, and then we're going to get the decals on there after we get it all together. So yeah, looking pretty good. I've got a couple armor pieces that I've picked out, we'll see how that turns out, and some weapons. Talk a little about the weapons once we get to that point, but yeah, let's get back together and grimed up, and then we'll do some decals. America! Alright, we're all grunged up. Got some, a little bit going on there, not too much. Don't want to get too dirty looking. Still want to look Gaslands, but still want to have the shiny chrome kind of shining through, but not too much. I've got the decals all cut out and ready to go. Going to be using the micro set to soak them in, put some on the casting, and then put the decals on, let it dry, and then put a little bit more over it to get it set on there. At least that's what the instructions say, so that's what we're going to do. So the side decals look like they're going to be a little bit long, so it's going to kind of go over into the wheel well, which is fine. I mean, not too much. I'll try to save as much as possible, but that's what looks like going to happen. We'll get it on there as best we can. Still going to look pretty badass. So yeah, that's what we're going to do, and then we'll start getting it all back together, the wheels and armor and stuff on there. Talk a little more about the weapon once we get on that portion of it, but yeah, let's get some decals going. Hot damn, these decals just turned out awesome. Rust Belt Customs, he does a fantastic job with the decals. Great product, great imagery and everything. Yeah, these are just awesome. Turned out really, really cool. Loving it. So next, we're going to get the wheels on there and some armor, and then do some fine details, the headlights and the taillights and stuff before we get the weapon and the ram on there. And I'll talk a little more about those when I get them on there. But first, let's get this thing armored up and some wheels and some fine detail. So yeah, all American, looking great. Weapons are all on there, wheels are on there, looking pretty good. Try to use everything that will fit into the right spaces and stuff without too much overlap. And that's what I want to talk about when we're looking at the rams and the weapons. I went through several different rams and weapons before I picked out what I wanted. I'll show you and explain why I picked out what I did. Let's start with the rams. So first, looking at some of these rams, this one looks really cool, but there's just no purchase space on here. trying to glue this on here, it's not going to stay, it's going to fall off, it's just going to look clunky. So off with that one. Next, looking at this big old flat like truck ramp. I like the look of it, but again, there's just no purchase space on there, and it looks, you know, if it were on a real vehicle, it's just too far off. There's no physics behind how it's going to stay on there. Didn't want to do that one either. This one I love. It's kind of wrap around. I've used it on several different cars before, but it really has to be on the right casting. This one, it was just not wide enough. So again, just not it. Finally, settle on this brush guard type of ramp. I wanted the headlights to still be seen. It wraps around pretty nicely. It's got some purchase spots both on the front where the little posts are at and on the sides for the glue and everything to stick. And if I can get it on there just right, the headlights will be able to be seen through the grill of the Ram, and it gives it kind of a, I don't know, football helmet, grill, face mask kind of feel to it. Kind of goes along with the theme of all American, you know, American football, everything else. So that's the one we're going to go with for the Ram. Now, when looking at weapons, I always like to pick a weapon that's going to kind of make sense with the rest of the model, unless I'm just trying to do something really silly and get something just huge and ungainly. So I went through a couple different weapons. This one, it was kind of a contender, but if you look at like the overall side view, it just, to me, is just kind of too big. It gives it too tall of a image, and it just wasn't the right one for what I was looking for. So I went with a smaller one. This one, it was almost too small, and it still had the tall kind of side view and everything. So again, just not the right one. Even like maybe sticking on the side, you know, the magazine sticks out too far, just wasn't the right one. This one I've used before, in trucks and everything else. I really like it. I love the ammo belt and everything. But looking at, you know, where I would stick it, there's not a lot of spot for the glue to stick. Even like taking the window out, it was the right size, I think. But you know, I also consider gameplay when I'm picking out all my pieces. Is this going to come off? Is this going to, you know, if it's the vehicle's destroyed and puts on its side, it's going to break off, and just, you know, it won't look right. So decided not to go with that one. Went with this one. It's still got the right sizing for me. I like how it looks. It's got enough surface space on the bottom where the glue's going to stick and stay on there. It doesn't make the vehicle too tall, and it still gives really a badass view. So those are the Ram and the weapons we're going to go with. So we're going to get those on there. Got the headlights and everything else, and the taillights all painted on there. I'm going to do the signals and some orange. And yeah, then we'll be good to go. But yeah, that's why I chose what I chose, and I think it's going to turn out pretty cool. So let's get those on there. All right, and there we have it. 119 Chevelle SS, all tricked out, red, white, and blue. Ready to hit the wastelands and bring home the gold. You know, I did this build, you know, like I said, for everybody's All-American, celebration of the Olympiads, 2024 Olympics going on, but really, you know, all those athletes out there are just phenomenal. I mean, some of them are like incredibly young, all of them are incredibly talented, so yeah, all the Olympiads, they really need a round of applause. I hope you liked this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you did, why don't you do me a favor and hit that like button. My goal is to do weekly videos, whether it's vehicle builds, terrain builds, whatever. So if that's for you, hit the sub button and ring the bell to get notified when new content drops. I do sell all my builds pretty inexpensively on my Etsy page. So if you want to see what else I've done, pick something up, hell, you can even request a custom build. Until next time, keep your foot on the gas and your finger on the trigger. Gaslands NorCal, signing out.